Appreciate y'all being here. Welcome to this business funding training today. Certainly excited about what we're going to cover with you. My name is David Rutz. Wade Cordell is usually the person who does business funding training. Last week, he was out because he had a doctor's appointment, a routine physical, and today he's out because he has COVID. So he's feeling fine. He's working, but he's just not feeling up to doing a presentation here. So I said, I got your back, buddy. And this way you can stay focused on putting all your energy into helping those clients get funded rather than getting on this Zoom. So, but I got some good stuff to cover with you on the whiteboard here. But before we go to, I want to go over a concept. I'm going to keep this brief, but I want to go over a concept. And, you know, if anyone in here played baseball or softball, when you're batting, there's a strike zone, right? And the strike zone is where the pitcher needs to put it to get a strike. And it's where the batter should only swing. And then there's an area that's a ball zone where it's outside the strike zone. That's when the batter should not swing, but the pitcher hopes they do once in a while when you throw a bad pitch. But all the coaches will say never swing at a pitch outside the strike zone. It's a wild pitch. Even if it's not wild, if it's outside the strike zone, let it go. Why? Because even if you get the bat on it, you probably, first of all, it's going to be hard to hit. But even if you get the bat on it, you'll probably fly ball, ground ball, something not good. You'll get an out. It'll be hard to make a great contact with a ball outside the strike zone. It's a time waster, if you will. It's a waste of a swing, if you will, instead of waiting for the right swing. Well, why am I saying this? Because when it comes to business funding, there is a strike zone of the clients you want to support. And then there's people outside the strike zone that you don't want to invest time into, just like you don't want to swing at a pitch outside the strike zone. You want to work inside your strike zone in business as well. And I've got it written on the board, what's in the strike zone and what's outside the strike zone. We'll go to that in a minute. But what I wanted to do today is remind everyone we have the quick reference sheets in our agent resource center that's got our types of funding and what the requirements are and what the qualifications are. All right, make sure you know that. But now what you want to do is you want to make sure you understand what our strike zone is and you want to focus there. And so I've got on the board here several items that is our strike zone. I've also got items about how to get referrals. I've also got items about how to what the outreach should look like and what the outcome you're shooting for is. Okay, so I want to go to that, and so I'm going to unblur my screen, and I'm going to start with the strike zone. Okay, because here we go. Because the strike zone is what I mentioned first, and I want you to be able to see right here, the strike zone, okay? And what we mean by this is, I'll rotate it this way a little bit. What we mean by this is what's in your strike zone. Now, in a batter strike zone, as a pitcher, because I was a pitcher, I was always trying to put the ball up here in the strike zone or over here. Those are hard to hit. Or down here, not right in the middle, not right over the plate. Batters are good. They know how to hit the ball when it's in the middle of the strike zone. So you want to put it on the edges where it's hard to hit, high and inside, low and inside, high and outside, low and outside, etc. But here's your strike zone. A client that has got good sales. They're doing at least $30,000 a month. They're a growing business. They have growth ideas that they want to put in place, but they need funding to help those ideas. And they've been in business 1+ years. Now that's your strike zone. There's some out here, $3,000 a month. They're still in the strike zone. They're just not where you want to focus a lot of your time. They already have a funding today. They need a rescue play. They're struggling right now. They don't have good sales, or they do, but they're way behind on bills or something. They need a rescue play, or they have declining sales. Those are all things you can still get an approval, but your strike zone you want to focus is here. Where are the wild pitches? I need to buy real estate. I have low sales. I have a bunch of NSFs or negative days, many negative days. I'm a startup. I've got receivables coming, but I'm not really doing revenue right now. I don't have a business bank account. I have past defaults. These are all wild pitches. If you're investing a lot of time with someone who says, well, I got a bunch of receivables, I got this contract coming up in the future, I know I'm going to do over $1 million next year in my contract. Well, guess what? That's a receivable. That's a hope. That's a contract. That's not past revenue. We only look at past revenue and the predictability of that revenue continuing. All right. So right here is your strike zone. If they don't match this, you want to start looking at, is that the right place to invest a lot of time? Now, you may not know this yet. You may not know this yet, but you want to know this going out, because I see a lot of new agents will say, oh yeah, I got this business. They want to buy a $5 million property and they want to build a high rise on it and rent it out to people. They want 5 million, and you get excited. They're not eligible for 5 million. And so you're chasing a real estate deal that they're not going to get, right? We only do revenue-based funding. That's all we do. Is if they got revenue, we can get them funding against that past revenue and the expectation that that revenue will continue. All right. So this is the strike zone. Don't play outside the strike zone, play in the middle of the strike zone. You make a lot more money there. You'll get a $60,000 funding here, a $50,000, a $40,000, and you'll make a couple $1,000 to $4,000 or $5,000. Or like right now, we got a $500,000 approval, strike zone, right? If that funds today, that rep's going to make a lot of money. And as far as I'm concerned, it's in the final funding call to underwriting. So that's the first thing I want to show. The second thing I want to show is this over here. Okay. Your outcome that you're seeking is you're not trying to close a loan. I want you to adhere to a philosophy. That is, I'm not responsible for the outcome, but I am responsible for the outreach, that it happens and that it happens correctly. Okay. I'm not responsible for the outcome, but I am responsible for the outreach, that number one, it does happen. Number two, it happens correctly. All right. Those two things are your responsibility. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the outreach. All right. That it happens and that it happens effectively. Write that down, because most people don't do those two things that they're 100% in control of. You know, when our daughters were younger and they had a cell phone, and that cell phone mattered so much to them, we'd let them control whether they had the cell phone or not by their behavior. And we put consequences like, as long as you do A, B, and C, you get to keep your cell phone today. If you don't do A, B, and C, just so you know, you're in charge of that. But here's the rule. Do A, B, C. You better get that bedroom done. You better do this. You better get your homework done. Whatever the things were that we use as our forced compliance, you're in control, though, whether or not you keep your cell phone tonight. We're not. You are. You know the rule now. So now if you decide to do something against that and you lose your cell phone, well, we didn't take it away from you. Your behavior or lack thereof took it away. Outreach and outcome. You are not responsible for the outcome, but you are responsible for the outreach. And most people aren't earning money in DAC or in any business that they sign up in because they don't do the activity that requires being done to earn money. Okay, you can't get customers here without being in front of prospective customers. Doesn't happen. And how do you get in front of prospective customers? You make outreach. So the outcome, though, that you're seeking, we're going to start with outcome. We're going to go with outreach. Then we're going to go to who, and we're going to go through referrals. We'll be done in 7 or 8 minutes. All right. Outcome. Your outcome is to, when you're approaching someone, is to either get them to apply for funding. That's unlikely they'll apply the first time. You want to be able to get an outcome where you can send them more information about your company, a link to your website, a brochure, etc. You on a phone call, sometimes, not always the first call, you'll be able to qualify them. That's a potential outcome you're looking for, is to know their sales, their time in business, their growth needs, if they have any. You want to gain familiarity with them. Sometimes you want to educate them, or other times you want to eliminate them as a prospect. You find out it's a wild pitch. So these are the outcomes you're looking to get when you reach out to someone. And familiarity is probably the most important upfront, is gaining a familiarity that you're in business funding and that you've got business funding, so that if and when they need funding, you're the person they think of. But I want you to know this. Experts say about 8 to 12 times, 8 to 12 impressions, touches, phone call, text, email, 8 to 12 touches, and then you become super familiar with them, where if they ever need funding, you're their go-to person. One touch doesn't do it. Some people are only looking for application as an outcome, and they'll call 100 people and there's only 2 ready to apply right now, or 1. And I go, man, I got to call 100 to get an application. But they don't realize the other 99 The outcome could have been just familiarity. And would it be okay if I send you some information and they nurture a relationship? Because every business owner is going to need funding at some point. It's just whether they can get it from the bank or not, or whether they store enough of their profit or not. They all need working capital to grow their business. 100% of them. You can't grow a business without having working capital. Where you get it from, whether you've got it from your profit or got it from a bank, that rules out 30% of the businesses, but the other 70% need you. And when they need you, are they familiar with you? And are they hearing from you regularly or just one time? So outreach, your outcome is to gain familiarity with them and keep gaining familiarity with them, right? Or eliminate them as a prospect. Not just because they don't want funding now, that doesn't mean you eliminate them from someone. You still want to qualify and send them more information and get them on your follow-up list to reach back out to periodically. All right. And you can educate them on the funding as well. So that's the outcome you're searching for. Application and funding is, first of all, funding is not even listed. The outcome is application. That's when, because you can't control whether someone's approved or not. So these are the outcomes you're looking for. And because you're not responsible, if I put a corn seed in the ground, who turns that corn seed? What turns that corn seed into a stalk with corn on it? Me? No. God does. Then the miracle of that seed turning into a stalk does, right? It's not the farmer. The farmer can't take credit. They can take credit for doing the outreach, right? Which we're going to get to in a minute. The outreach, they can take responsibility for doing the outreach right, but they didn't make the corn. They didn't make the seed either. And they didn't make the soil. 100% of that was made by God. All they did was maybe put some nutrients into it, turn it, get the rocks out, plant at the right time. They did it with integrity. They did their part. But in the end, the weather, all kinds of things outside the control of the farmer. So look at yourself like a farmer the same way and make sure the outcomes you're looking for, the harvest, if you will, isn't just applications and just fundings. All these other things are great outcomes from a reach out too. So how do you do the outreach? Number one, you need the beliefs. You need the 5 beliefs. Hopefully you've got them committed to memory. They're in a lot of our trainings. Number 1 belief, business owners are rock stars. Number 2, they got great ideas, great growth ideas. One of them is listed here. Growth ideas right here. Do you have any growth ideas you could use some working capital for? They're not even thinking about it if they don't have the money. But as soon as they hear that, they go, maybe. So they have great growth ideas, great profit ideas, but don't have the working capital. Their allocation to capital, their options are limited. It's either a savings account or banks, and most can't get approved at the banks. Do we believe that? You need to, because that's true. Otherwise, there's no reason to reach out. You serve no purpose. If they can all get approved at the banks are lower price. You serve no purpose. The reason we exist is because we know that's not true. 80% can't get approved at their bank. Every bank requires collateral. Most business owners don't have collateral. That rules them out right there. Number 2, they're alternative. So alternative capital is their best option for 80% of them. And Bank Breezy's funding platform, or DAC, that you guys have, is the best source of alternative capital. Why? We're not just one provider. We represent all of them. What's the cheapest way to fly from Detroit to Miami? Is it Delta? Maybe. Is it Southwest? Don't know. Is it American, United, Frontier? Who is it? I don't know. So if you go to Kayak or Travelocity or some of these search engine sites, they find you the best offer, the best flight price. Same thing with our funding. We're not the one funder. We represent all the top funders. That's a belief you need to know and understand, that that's why you can help them get the best cost of capital. And then we aim to help them. We aim to help those rock star business owners with a free application and no obligation to proceed. Wade doesn't try to close them. You don't have to close them. We don't charge them an application fee to find them that best offer. They don't have to become a member of Bank Breezy before they can apply at Bank Breezy, right? So those are the beliefs. Now, if you've got that in mind and you know these outcomes are not your responsibility, but you know you're going to help make an impact and help a lot of businesses, and you can earn some great income yourself. Now the conversation is, do you do outreach? Number 1, you have integrity. You don't overpromise. Number 2, you introduce yourself. You inform. So you introduce and inform. That's it. You introduce yourself and inform that you're alternative capital, that you've got this funding platform and you want to help them. You ask permission to forward information off to them. Would it be okay if I send you some information on my company? Would it be okay if I email you a link to check out, or just a brochure to put in to save in case, if and when you ever need funding? And then you have a reason for follow-up. This is another thing for outreach, is you've got a reason to follow up with them. Once you've started building familiarity, keep this in mind. You want to reach out to them 12 times a year. At least 12 times a year, you want to be touching them with a text, with an email. Every one of you had an opportunity on Christmas to reach out. If you know your customer's Jewish, you had an opportunity when Hanukkah started on the 15th. You know New Year's coming. You have a reason to reach out to them and wish them a happy New Year. Every one of you has a reason right now. Sometimes your reason is only to let them know that there's a new funding alternative where we're able to get better terms. Did you have any need for capital, or do you have any growth ideas you want to fund? Because we can get you the funding. So that's a reason to reach out and touch out. I'm just reaching out because it's Thanksgiving and I just was thinking about you. I'm grateful for our relationship. If I can ever help you with funding, you have a reason to reach out. So go through our funding training on what to say, but it's really simple. I put an audio voicemail up in the DAC Agent Center as well. It's real simple. Hey, Joe, you don't know me directly. My name is David Rutz with David Allen Capital. Introduce. I just want to introduce myself because I just saw your truck driving, or you don't know me directly, but I just saw your truck on Milford Road. So I just wanted to call and introduce myself in case you ever had a need for funding. We love to help construction companies like yours. And if we could ever help you with some funding, we want you to know we exist. Would it be okay if I send you some information on our company? Something that short. You introduce yourself and you inform quickly. The reason for my call is boom, 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 boom. We wanted to reach out to you because we love helping construction companies, right? Those are our beliefs. We believe business owners are rock stars. Do you believe that? If you've never been a business owner, you have no idea what they carry around every day. You ever been behind on your bills? Imagine being behind on your bills and you got employees who are counting on your money to pay. And that cook who's cooking in the restaurant is expecting to get paid whether you made money or not, right? And you are the business owner, you got to pull that off. Or you got to line out your door and your business is booming and you need to add another patio or build another location or add more staff, and you need to fund that now, but you don't have all the sales yet. And so how are you going to do that? It's irresponsible to not grow. It's irresponsible not to fund that growth, but you don't have the money to. So you don't, until you've lived that life, it's hard to understand, but you got to remember the business owners are rock stars, right? So that's the outreach. You simply inform. You're not responsible for whether they take funding right now. You're just responsible to do the outreach, to understand our funding products, to have the quick reference sheets in front of you so that you can understand. You understand you're looking to find out if they're in the strike zone and help them, right? And then the other thing I'd say is, who do you call? Well, you start with your contact list, right? You start with your contact list right here, the people in your phone book. And then you go to local businesses. When I say phone book, I'm talking about this puppy right here, your phone. And then local businesses, canvas as a customer. Anytime you shop at a customer, you talk to them. Any businesses you have an affinity for. If you're a skateboarder, reaching out to skateboard shops. If you're a person who loves gardening, maybe you're reaching out to landscapers. Hey, I have an affinity for landscaping, man. I want to help landscapers all over the country. Whatever your reason is, your affinity for a local area, maybe. Hey, you don't know me directly, but I went to school in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I just love that town, and I wanted to make sure every business in that town is aware of our funding. That's an affinity. That relates with the business owner in Ann Arbor. That's why you're calling. It's a little bit different than a BS thing. Make it truthful. It's got to be real. Have a reason you're calling that person. And if your reason is, well, I'm trying to make money, step back. That can't be your reason. It can be the outcome, but it can't be the reason for the outreach. The reason for the outreach has to be something at a service level. They got to know you care before they know what you know. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. How are you letting them know you care? We went to a town in Bowling Green. I don't know if Robin or Bob is watching or anyone else, but Matt, maybe. We went down to Bowling Green, Ohio, and I'd never been there. But we went in there and we said, let's look at this town right here. It's 3 blocks. They got a Chase Bank right there. Why are we here? Well, we're here for training. Yeah, but why are we here? Why does DAC exist? To help business owners. So let's look at this. Each one of these businesses, what do we care about? Man, they're fighting it every day. They're fighting it every day, every single day. So we go in, how do we make them know we know that? I mean, first of all, we got to think about it. Second of all, then we got to lead with it. We got to let them know we're here to introduce ourselves because we think you business owners are rock stars. We want to make sure every business in this town knows about our alternative funding because right over there is Chase and they can help some of these businesses, but most of these businesses can't get funding at Chase. So we just want to introduce ourselves, leave you our card for if and when you ever need some funding options. Would that be okay? Sure, great. Have you talked to Mark over there? You want to help everyone in this town? Yeah, we're here till we've talked to every business owner in this town. Is that a sales pitch? No, that's a passion to help every business owner in that town. And yes, we went into Chase. And yes, we talked to the manager of Chase. And yes, we said, we're talking to all these businesses here and we're telling them if they can get approved from you, they should. But if they can't, we want them to know we exist. And we want you to know we exist too, in case any of them need funding and you can't help them. That's a passion for that town. That's why you get a bunch of clients. It's not because you got business funding and you call people. And how many real estate agents get no homes listed because that's what they do? How you need to sell a home, how you need to sell. I throw away more magnets that come to my house. I throw away more I don't even know these agents and they're sending me stuff to my house about selling a home. You have no care for me in my house, really. You're just doing what you were taught to do. Send an email out to a bunch of people. Send a calendar out to a bunch of people. You don't even know me. You haven't introduced yourself. You haven't identified yourself. You sent me and every one of my neighbors because we fit your strike zone. Because we fit your strike zone of the homes you want to list, you contact me. But guess what? I won't use you. I don't know you. Personalize it. Personalize it. David, you live in a golf community. I love helping businesses or residential customers in a golf community because you eventually wear out your desire to keep playing. You don't want to keep paying those membership dues. And I want to bring the next family in. You've lived there 20 years. I want to bring the next family in, give them that lifestyle for their next 20 years and help you get out of it and move into your next season. Because I have a passion to help young families live that lifestyle. Now that matters more to me than your calendar. Save the money. Have a conversation. And it's the same thing with you reaching out to business owners. You having a conversation, having a passion for that business owner matters a heck of a lot more than a brochure you send them. Okay, they don't read the brochure. They don't care about the brochure until they know you care, right? So your affinity, why can you relate with them? Reach out and talk to them. And then there's chambers and association meetings. There's where you reach businesses. Of course, you go to social networks as well. Of course, you can use outreach messages like social messaging, but you better get this accomplished. I mean, you better get this outreach accomplished in your social post. If you can't bring your belief to that post or your integrity to that post, an introduction to that post, and a link to get more information, if you can't get that in the post it's not going to be effective. You may get once in a while someone stumble on your site and you get an application. All right. And then you want to get referrals. How do you get referrals? So there's two ways. It's real easy. You got to deliver remarkable service. That's number one. Number two, you got to ask for them. You know how many people deliver a remarkable service and never ask for a referral? Most. You know people ask for a referral but never give remarkable service? Most people who ask. But when you can do both of these, when you can give a remarkable service, what does that look like? When someone gets a funding, you follow up with them. Hey, congratulations on your funding. Did you get the money? Is everything understood? You understand everything? After they get the funding, reach out to them. Congratulations. The money's already in your account. Are you able to make that growth happen you were talking about? Beautiful. Do you have any questions about anything? Is there anything I can help you with? You need to talk to the lender? Okay. Which provider was it? Do you have an email from them? Do you want me to make that conversation happen? Yeah, I'd like to talk to. Okay, great. And you got to go back through Bank Breeze and say, hey, my client would like to talk to their provider. They had a question. I told them their phone numbers in their email. I told them their portal where they're paying, however it works, they can get their number there, but they want me to find it for them. So can you tell me who their point of contact is? And you get the point of contact for them. But you go above and beyond. David, I don't want to take care of the customers. That's not remarkable. Don't ask them for a referral. But when you're remarkable, you can say, hey, by the way, I got a passion for helping business owners. You know how we helped you. You know, I didn't close you and try to sell you on it. Do you know any other business owners you could introduce me to? If you can just share with me some names and phone numbers, I'll reach out. If you don't mind me saying, Mark, you sent me, Mark, I'd love to reach out and just introduce myself and inform on what I do. Do you have any business owners you think I could reach out to? Yeah, here's a few. Business owners hang out with business owners. They know business owners. So this just summarized how to be a pro in a summary. Now you could break down each one of these into a branch. This is a trunk of a tree, and these are branches, but this summarizes right here how to be a pro in getting funding. Now, the key is how much outreach do you do? How much outreach do you do? If you do no outreach, what kind of outcomes are you going to have? No good outcome. Well, you won't have the outcome of feeling like you interrupted anyone. That's true. You won't have the outcome of feeling like you're bothering anyone. That's true. But how about having a different belief that you're not bothering, you're encouraging and supporting? You may interrupt someone once in a while when you reach out to them. Yeah, of course you'll interrupt. But if you do it with class and you're quick and get right to the point and you let them know, I'm just here to introduce myself and inform you of something and share it with them real quick, you will interrupt some people. But all you're trying to do is familiarize yourself with them and them with you so you can get them more information. And then you reach out regularly and get to know them better. And yeah, you're going to have some who say, please don't call me anymore. Okay. It's rare, but you'll get some. But you build a relationship with many and you'll save a lot of businesses and you help take businesses from one level to the next. And the last thing I'll say is this: in my faith, I'm a Christian. And so I'm not an evangelist, which means someone who goes out and recruits Christians or shares about it all the time to try to recruit as their intent. Like, hey, if you were to die today, do you know for sure you'd be going to heaven? And if so, why? And then they know how to introduce, and that's not me. I don't want to do that. I'm not comfortable doing that. I love Jesus. I'm a believer in Jesus and eternity. I'm a believer in all that. I love sharing it. I love being in outreach. I love mentioning it, but I don't love trying to get a convert. It turns me off, actually. It makes me not want to talk. If you tell me I got to convert people over to Christianity, no, I won't talk about it anymore. But if you tell me, share what you believe in, and you'll attract others who want to seek that out and believe in it, heck, I'll do that every day, all day long. And that's what I do in this business. Are you sharing what you believe in about Bank Breezy and DAC funding? Are you sharing that, or are you just believing? Because we're not telling you got to get a bunch of customers. We're not telling you, but we are telling you there's a bunch of businesses out there who need some financial security. They need some finances to grow their business. So Christianity may give what I believe eternal security, and DAC may give financial business funding, which is working capital and financial security for them. It'll also give you financial security, but you got to be willing to share what you believe. So hopefully you believe in our funding. Last week we talked about it's expensive if they don't have a good need for it, but it's not expensive at all if they do. There's no cost if they have a need because they generate a lot more profit than they spent on interest or markup, if you will. All right, so that's it. Let's see if you have any questions and we'll wrap this up. Again, sorry, I'm not Wade Cordell. He's the Bank Breezy expert of all experts. But like I said, he's struggling with COVID, so we just left him in prayer. He's working today, but he just didn't. He's probably not even watching, knowing him. Christopher Sanchez, how you doing, Chris?
David, I tell you, I just love what you share with us. Going back to the board behind you,
Yeah.
what was below outcome and qualify?
Okay. Outreach.
No, outcome to yep, right below qualify.
Familiarity.
Okay.
You want to that's the most important thing, is gaining familiarity with them. They want to be familiar with you. You want to be familiar with them, and you keep outreaching and have a reason to follow up because most of them aren't going to need funding today, but they'll need it sometime this year or next year.
Just a suggestion, yet strike zone, that would be, and I know you don't have a lot of time, but if someone could put that on a document to really help a reference for people just to focus on building their DAC business. That is, boy, I'm a huge baseball fan, so that hit with me big time. Thank
Good
you.
deal. Good deal. Appreciate it, buddy. There, you'll see several things like these coming out. This is why they're on the board. Harlequin Murray. Thank you, by the way, Chris. Harlequin, what do you got for us, Harlequin?
Hey, David.
Hi, how
Great
are you?
job today.
Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you as well, and prayers for Wade. Could you do us all a favor after we finish? Because it's kind of hard to take a screenshot sometimes and get all the information. Can you take pictures of both sides of that and post that onto Facebook for us? Because whenever I take a picture with my camera, it doesn't show up very well.
Yep. Will do. I just took a picture. I'll make sure it's clean and we'll get it off to
Okay.
you. Thank you,
Appreciate you.
Harlequin. Appreciate you.
And have a
Matt
happy new
Tahame,
year.
how you doing, Matt?
Fantastic, David. Happy Christmas. And
Thank you as well.
get that dairy whip in the air. It was hilarious. I thought you were going to burn your face off with that Opa thing there. Was that you
Oh
taking
yeah.
the film of that thing? It just went right into your camera.
I could feel the heat in my hand. It was fabulous.
I was going to say, I hope your face wasn't there.
Yeah, no, I made sure I did this and reached
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I did have to pull my hand away pretty quick.
Yeah, somebody's going to get. Anyway, that's a wonderful tradition. It's Greek, right? Opa, your wife.
It's Greek. Yeah, our ceiling's got some stains in it, as you can
I
imagine.
bet you it's blackened. I just have to say this: that Chris Sanchez hit the nail on the head there. I was a pitcher, right? And man, that's got to be one of the best analogies I've ever seen. About just what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish, and man, am I really swinging out of the strike zone? Boy, oh boy, that's my problem. I mean, it's all that effort and everything. So still, I could probably get that to right field. I could still probably pull that and get it in play. What an idiot! I'm spending so much time swinging at pitches out of the strike zone. I'd say probably more than half my time is spent doing that, and that has just cost me a lot of money. I mean, that just clarified so many things for me. I mean, I'm doing this a lot, right? And that helped me immensely. That thing right there. Business is 6 months in business. I mean, I'm running, and I run into a lot of problems, right? I mean, my God, well, it's because I'm swinging out of the strike zone. It's not because that's it. You nailed it. So I just wanted to tell everybody this is phenomenal. And Harlequin's right. Take a picture of it. That's just classic gold right there, man. Excellent.
Yeah. With your batting analogy, like you said, 6 months. I mean, 6 months is past their minimum qualification, right? But it's not the pitch you want to swing at. If you happen to be in our business, it's okay to support that business, but you don't go seeking it. You don't say, I'm only going to swing at the high and inside gig workers. I'm only going to swing at the 3,000 a month in revenue guys or the 6 months in business guys and gals because, hey, we can do it. Well, yeah, but that's not where you want to focus your business. It's okay to support them. And for anyone new, I know there's a lot of people focusing on gig workers because it feels easier to them. They know a lot of people who drive Uber and all this. Just so you know, guys, we're not going to be able to help their business as much as someone who's doing 50,000 a month. It's just the reality. We might be able to get that Uber driver $600, $400, $1,200. But we'll be able to get these people in these strike zones 80 grand, 150 grand, 300 grand. And which one do you get paid most on? First of all, you get paid next day on these, and you get paid on average 4% or more on the funding. Where on the giggle, the small ones, you get 4%, but on a lower amount because we don't get paid full commission on gig workers. And you don't get it till the 20th of next month. So support it, yeah, but don't say, that's where I'm swinging. That's where I'm going to earn my living high and inside on the gig workers. So good stuff. All right. Well, folks, thank you. We have no other questions. So I would just encourage you as we go into the new year. I'm going to be talking more on Friday on the goals and different things. So I'm not going to spend time on that now. But as we sign off right now, hey man, increase your outreach. I'm seeing what it's doing. I'm seeing how effective it is when I can track the number of outreach. I can't track your outreach, but I can tell you this. I can tell by your funding whether you're doing outreach or not, and what quantity of outreach or the number of applications, I should say, whether you're doing outreach or not, because we've done this long enough. We know what the numbers are. So make sure you're doing the outreach. You'll have the great outcomes eventually, and you'll get some of these outcomes right here, which are perfect. These are great. It's where you want to be. It's where you want to be. These will come. Be in here. That's in the strike zone.